Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to On Air with Russell of Hotels, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to On Air with Russell of Hotels, where we talk about everything hospitality, from hotels to influencers and everything in between. We will feature guest interviews with hospitality professionals who will share their experiences. Your host, Russell Edmond, has spent over 25 years in the hospitality industry, beginning his career with Marriott International in hotel operations, before moving into the sales arena and becoming a relationship-building director of sales and marketing. Russell then went to the other side as a hospitality entrepreneur. He now consults in the hotel and meeting space, which includes being the CEO of Russell of Hotels Group. Did I mention he was a veggie foodie? Yes, Russell is always looking for good non-meat eats. Please welcome your host, Russell Edmond.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. I was doing something on my other computer. I have like 10 computers in front of me, and I was noticing the sound was up. I'm like, the sound was up on the other computer, and that wasn't a good thing, right? So anyway, I had to make sure I took care of it so that if I came on kind of abruptly or surprised, it was because I was having some other technical issues that it was all user. It had to do with me, right? It had nothing to do with anything else. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. I tend to ramble every now and then, but that's okay. But that's me. Anyway, thank you again for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Show number 87. We're at the end of the year, right? The home stretch. You're trying to get out of this 2020, right? But man, a lot of stuff has happened. Someone asked me earlier today, do I do a show to reflect on the year and things like that? I said, no. Why do I want to reflect on what's been happening in 2020, right? There's a lot of, for most of us, it's been a challenging year, right? But I am blessed that I still had a show, right? I am blessed for that. I'm blessed for the people that have been on the show. So everyone that has been on the show, I do want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart that you guys chose to be on the show and you tried to make this thing a lot better, meaning this year a lot better than it was. And, the show for me is, it can be kind of therapy. It kind of be, get you away from some of the things that you go through on a day-to-day basis. And, this whole COVID thing and, the COVID thing hit, my family personally. I mean, we actually lost people to COVID. So, that's something, you don't talk about, I don't talk about, but it is. I mean, it's a reality, right? So that's the reality that we deal with. But it's just basically how you get through, the day or get through the weeks or the months or the whole year. So, if I reflect on anything, it's just, having this show to kind of get your mind off of different things and talk about, some fun things. I mean, some things that are challenging or things about life. I mean, in your work, your everyday work and hospitality stuff. So everything is, like I said, anything I do on the show it has to do with hospitality, right? I may, veer off and talk about other things, but it's a hospitality show. We're gonna bring it back to that. Like, so no matter what I talk about in the interim or whatever, we're gonna bring it back to hospitality because it's On Air with Russell of Hotels, right? That's what it's all about. So, but anyway, thank you everyone that has been on the show before. I want to thank Michelle Carlin. She's like the first one. She's like saying hi, and I haven't even started the show yet, right? She's already chiming in. So, I'm gonna give you crap, Michelle. But thank you so much for being a friend, for being someone I can call and talk to about certain things that are going on in the industry, Like I always say, you're my go-to person. You're my expert when it comes to, things, anything or everything CVB. You're my go-to. So I do appreciate all the stuff that you do for me as well. So thank you so much, Michelle. Anyway, thank you again. Hello again. Thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. We're at a live radio show. We're on LA Talk Radio. So you go latalkradio.com. We're on Zoom. So right now it's Zoomed, and we're Facebook Live, right? So this is a live show that becomes a podcast. I know every week I say that because people tell me, you mention that every week that, it's a it's a live show that becomes a podcast. A podcast is a pre-recorded show, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is, right? So I need to tell people that, because guess what? Everyone doesn't know that, right? Everyone thinks this is a podcast, or not everyone, but some people think, oh, he does a podcast, Well, it becomes a podcast after the show is over. But right now it's live. It's 106 on Tuesday the 22nd. So I can't say, hey, Ronan, stop it. Let's do this over again. We can't do that, right? So no, it's a live show. So anything I say, I don't edit the show. I don't go back and edit if I said something wrong, or I try not to cuss on the show. So, because my mom listens to it. So, I got to keep it clean. But people to come on the show, they can cuss all they want. I can't control what they say, but I can control what I say. So anyway, but thank you so much. We're Hospitality Unplugged. That is hashtag Hospitality Unplugged. Have you ever went to like Google and then typed in the hashtag of anything? Like, I'm not just saying the Hospitality Unplugged, but hashtag anything. And normally, if you do anything that person or that contains any like on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, normally that's how it's supposed to work. So if you hashtag something, you can type in hashtag, like say Google in the space bar, and anything that had hashtag Hospitality Unplugged will come up. So any pictures that you posted that had, the hashtag Hospitality Unplugged should come up. So it's a way to find, who posted what on this hashtag Hospitality Unplugged. So that's what we're about. You do that. Just try it yourself. Google hashtag Hospitality Unplugged and see what comes up. I guarantee you it'll be something that had to do with Russell of Hotels. And that's what you want, right? So it's a reference. It goes back to where, the stuff that I posted, or Russell of Hotels posted, or that was posted under that hashtag. So that's what I do, right? So that's what it's all about. My little nuggets of information, because I guarantee people know. They say, well, you got to put the right hashtags. Well, how can you find those hashtags? What do you do with those hashtags? Do you actually go back and reference it? A lot of people do, but there's some people, somebody is listening, did not know that. So that's what I try to do. But today's the 22nd. It's actually one day from something, but anyway, we're a couple of days away from Christmas. So I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody before the show's over and I forget to say that. But this is show number 87. Who would have thought, right? I said that a little while ago. Who would have thought we would get to 87? Who would have thought we got to number 1? But we did. And once again, I appreciate everyone that listens in and who's interested in the number 1 hospitality radio show. And that's what this is. Okay, there you go. Boom. Drop the mic. I can just finish right now and move on. Industry news. I don't have a lot of industry news. But I saw something that was kind of interesting. It had to do with Marriott International. They, during the whole COVID, you have the protocols and things like that. But from what I understand, and I didn't read a lot into this and I didn't ask anyone, but they may go to doing testing on site, right? So say you're having a meeting and you want to make sure you're keeping people safe. So you can test people several times while they're there, just to make sure, well, first when they come in, make sure they don't have COVID. And then you can test these same people while they're there, make sure they didn't catch it while they were at the hotel. So there's different things that are coming out with this whole COVID thing. Of course, they're going to charge you for it, right? But wouldn't that be something if meeting planners can get with, their Marriott hotel? And from what I understand, it's only rolling out to specific Marriott hotels. I'm sure some full service hotels. I'm not sure which brand it is, if it's a JW, if it's a Ritz. I'm not sure at this point, but once I get more information, I definitely will share that. But yeah, so they're offering testing. So isn't that something? So you can come, you see who has. If you don't have it, then that's fine, but they'll keep testing it, while you're there. I'm not sure how many times. I'm sure it has to do with how many times you're willing to pay for it. But I just think that's something that's, they're trying to get ahead of this whole thing, to make people comfortable with traveling again. And that it's going to take something like that. It's going to take thinking outside of the box, to make this, to put people's mind at ease. So when they travel, you know that you're going to get tested when you go to this specific thing. So, I mean, it's just another way that Marriott just keeps going up. Okay, they got people that are innovators, right? So there you go. So way to go, Marriott. We give you a thumbs up today. So, and this is supposed to start in the US January 2021. So we're like a week away from this thing, right? So there you go. In the world of LinkedIn, I've been saying this for the last several probably months now, right? The SSI score, because I think it's important. Go into the new year knowing what your SSI score is and how you can affect it, how you can change it, how you can bring it up, or if you don't care, how it can go down, however you want to do that. And I had a guest last week, Say Koke, who was a GM at the Ace Hotel downtown LA. He wasn't familiar with it. So I asked him to give me his number. That was his homework assignment. And he got me the number, and he identified it as being somewhat low. Okay, well, compared to mine, maybe so, but compared to people that aren't really familiar with it, it's okay. But it's a starting tool, right? It's somewhere where you start and you see how you can impact that number. And then basically SSI stands for Social Selling Index. It measures the impact of your social selling efforts with LinkedIn. So it's basically it's only LinkedIn, okay, for the most part, and how effective you are at establishing your professional brand. So that's what the SSI score is. I scored 70 out of 100, okay, and I should score 70. I think I should be in the 80s, but obviously I'm not doing something right, so I have to make sure that I am, applying myself or taking this a little bit more serious than I have been. Okay, so I scored 70, so it gives you a dashboard and everything, right? So you can go and just, if you didn't know where it was, or if you don't know where it is, just Google SSI score LinkedIn, and something will come back and basically say how to check your score. So as long as you have a LinkedIn profile, it will basically take that LinkedIn profile that you have in your system. You don't have to go to LinkedIn to do it. It it'll click it and it'll find LinkedIn for you, right? And it comes back with a score in a matter of seconds, and it will tell you not only what your score is, how you rank out of 100. Like I said, I rank 70 out of 100. My score used to be 71, and I lost a point. I'm still ticked off about that. And then it'll tell you how you rank within your industry, like say hospitality, or your network, the people that you have in your network. Okay, so say I have 26,000 people in my network, right? So I'm in the top 4% of my network. So I'm in the top 4% of the 26,000 people. And then I'm in the top 1% of my industry, meaning the hospitality industry. So, I mean, I think that's decent. I think I can get higher. I mean, I know I can get higher because I don't, there's 4 categories this is based on. Establishing your professional brand is the high you can get is 25. So it's a possible 25 points you can get out of that. And I got 21. So establishing your professional brand, I got 21 out of 25. Finding the right people, meaning you're actually connecting or linking in with the right people, maybe people within your, and this thing, I think is a little flaw here, because one thing that I'm all about on LinkedIn is connecting with multiple people, not just people within your network, but people outside of your network. If you're a meeting planner, a hotel site selection company like I am, right? Or I'm a marketer, digital marketer, and I mean, I can help anyone out, right? It's not just the hospitality people that I can help out, right? Especially if I'm a hotel site selection people, the clients are not hospitality people. They're whatever, ABC company, they're corporate, they're government, they're association. Those are the type of organizations that I help with their meetings, right? So why would I relegate or confine myself just to hospitality people? So I think I get dinged because I'm going outside of their network. That may have something to do with it. I don't know. At least I'm telling myself that's what it is, right? I'm trying to justify these low numbers that I have. So, but establishing your professional brand, I got 21 out of 25. Finding the right people, I got 14.3 out of 25. That's bad. Engage with insights, I got 11 out of 25. Okay, that's an F. I flunked. So engage with insights basically means someone posts something, I'm not responding enough, or I'm not engaging enough with that comment. So if there's comments out there, instead of just liking something, you need to engage, like say, oh, someone got a new job. Instead of just liking it, say, congratulations on your new position. Boom, maybe that'll help, right? Or someone has a whole in-depth conversation, get involved in that conversation if you want to, and then give them your opinion on certain things. And I think that will help with the engaging and insights. And I thought I was doing that, but I haven't checked my number in 2 weeks, so maybe it's gone up, right? So maybe next week I'll check it again before the show. And then building relationships, I got 25 out of 25. So A+, right? You can't get any better than that. So I do need to work on a couple things, but it's not, and I always say this, the disclaimer, it's not the end all be all out there, right? But it helps. It doesn't matter if you're in sales or not, because a friend of mine said, well, this is only important for people that are in sales, relationships and building your personal brand. No, it's not. It can be about your professional brand as well as your personal brand. Remember, I always say you are the brand that works for a brand. Okay, so it starts with you. People will buy you before they buy the brand. Okay, if they're comfortable with you but don't know anything about the brand that you represent, well, guess what? They're going to say, well, I know Russell, so I know he's done a good job for other people, so I'm gonna go with Russell. They may not know the whole Russell of hotels, but they know Russell. Okay, so remember, they start with you as the brand that works for another brand or represents another brand. So always remember that. Tip for LinkedIn: don't connect with anyone who doesn't have a profile picture or logo. I mean, there's, people can form bots and all this kind of stuff for whatever reason why they do this. I have no idea, but I don't connect with anyone that does not have a profile picture or a logo. So I just think it's safer that way. At least you know who it is. And I always give this example. It's not LinkedIn, but it's Facebook, where my mom has a Facebook page, but she doesn't have a picture. And I had to call her just to make sure that, no one, started an account without her knowing. Like I said, do you have a Facebook, profile? But I said, well, you don't have a picture. Can you put the picture on there? So I linked in it because it was my mom. I mean, I connected with her. Friends confirmed to friends because she's my mom. But if it was anyone else, I would not have done it because they didn't have a picture. So, Mom, get a picture. She still didn't have a picture. This has been a couple of years. She still doesn't have a picture. She listens to the show. So, Mom, can you get a picture on Facebook, please? That way I'm more comfortable. Ah, boy, that was a good one, right? Is your hotel open, or did you go back to work? You need to create some FOMO. Now, I know a lot of people, in fact, even the Say, who was on the show last week, his show, actually, they closed it temporarily. They're supposed to reopen on the 28th of December. Let's hope that does happen. But when he comes back, he has to create some FOMO. And they do a good job. Ace Hotels does a good job of putting things out there. But believe me, I'm going to be watching just to make sure they are creating FOMO. And FOMO stands for fear of missing out. So another way to kind of jumpstart people into travel, having meetings or staying in hotels again, aside from the protocols that we need to do, but you need to create some FOMO. So even the protocols you can create FOMO by showing some of the protocols. Like, say, if you're cleaning that you never did before, never showed people before, and it always goes back to what I keep saying about we're going to make housekeeping sexy, right? I say sexy again. I don't know if it was ever sexy, but it's going to be sexy now, because we need to see, when you go in a hotel, you need to see people cleaning, spraying, disinfecting, having sanitized stations and things like that. We need to see that stuff because people want to come in and make sure it's there, right? But I would rather see it, and then I get there, I don't see it, right? I see it on whatever social media or whatever, and then maybe that'll prompt me to go. Or at least if I was planning to go, it would maybe put my mind at ease, because the websites, most hotel websites, they'll give you a list of what their protocols are, but they very seldom show pictures. And a video is worth 1,000 words, right? So if you just showed a video of people maybe using the sanitation, the hand sanitizer, or seeing your housekeeping team clean, you don't have to show their faces, but you can show that they're cleaning. That helps, right? Because I'll tell you this, a lot of hotels are not doing it. Okay. So you got that tip for free here on air with Russell of Hotels. Russell of Hotels said, do the videos. Videos will go a lot further on social media than a still picture. So people want to see people in action, creating that FOMO. So make sure we do that. Okay. So if you're open, create some FOMO. If you just started a new job, create some FOMO. And I always said, hotel people, salespeople especially, they need to have their own page for their hotel. Like, say if I work for XYZ Hotel, I work for the Russell Hotel, right? So I should have, in addition to what the hotel has, they have their own separate whatever IG page or LinkedIn page or Facebook page or Twitter page or whatever it is. I need to have one as a sales manager, right? And I would, anytime I met with a client, I'll be taking pictures. I'll let them know, hey, this is going, this is the reason why I'm doing this. It creates FOMO. It creates all that stuff. And that would be a requirement. If it was me, if I'm a director of sales at a hotel and I got a team of 10 people, guess what? All 10 people would have a LinkedIn or IG or Twitter page, because they need to make sure, it's part of selling. It's part of their job to do that. And why not do it on social media? How much is that going to cost if they did it? I'll let you come up with that. But we need to think outside the box, and we're not doing it, right? Because I don't see it. So that's why I can say that, right? Because I don't see it. Anyway, so just something to think about. And if you have questions about it, you can always hit me up. I can, assist you on that. What else? Social media usage. And this all ties in with the social media usage being up 7 minutes. Okay. People think this is not a big deal. It is a huge thing. If you're a marketing person, if you rely on social media for your marketing, you need to make sure you're doing more than what you've been doing, because people are online more. They're ordering stuff left and right. I know it because I see it every day. I get boxes out here every day from someone that's ordered something. They're spending more time. They're not going to stores. They're spending more time online. So we need to make sure that people are seeing at least we're putting things out there for people to see. But if we're not, listening to the messages that are out there, meaning the message for me saying that social media usage is up 7 minutes over 2019 during the same period. So what should your marketing strategy be moving forward? I would be all over that if I was on property. I definitely would. And I'll be all over it now if you need me to do it. Hey, just throwing that out there. But you need to do it. You need to make stuff happen. Non-meat eats. You guys know that I'm into non-meat eats. I don't eat meat. I don't eat cheese. I don't eat regular cheese, real cheese. I don't eat anything milk-based, animal-based, eggs. I don't eat any of that stuff, right? But they do have cheese, but it's from like almond milk or soy cheese, whatever. I do eat that, but I don't eat regular, you would call it regular cheese. So I'm into this whole non-meat, plant-based diet, 100%. So what did I do last week? I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I think it was over the weekend. So I baked a peach cobbler. Did I tell anybody this already? I know sometimes I forget but anyway, I'll say it again. I baked a peach cobbler. I normally do peach cobblers, but I had some blueberries and I said, let me throw the blueberries in there too. And the blueberries were sweet. And, you put them in there and then, blueberries will burst and, all the juices will flow throughout the cobbler and everything. Oh, Oh my God. And it was plant-based. It didn't have, normally you make this with real butter, but animal-based butter. No, I didn't do that. I made it with plant-based butter. And it was probably just as good as, I think it was probably better, okay, than just a regular peach cobbler. But in fact, I did, I just got an order. My neighbor next door every year asked me to make him a peach cobbler. So I said, just give me the ingredients and I'll make it for you. So guess what? He did that yesterday. I said, when do you need it? I said, you need it like tomorrow? He said, no, you can give it to me on Friday. I said, well, today's Monday. Why am I getting this on Monday? But I took it anyway. So I'm gonna make him a peach cobbler. So that's kind of what I do. If someone, like a neighbor, a friend, that kind of thing, I'll do that. But normally I don't. I don't do that. But I will for him because he's a cool dude. So non-meat eats. Last night my daughter made this. It was it was over pasta. So it was like this red pepper sauce. It wasn't regular tomato sauce. Only thing tomato in there was a tomato, little bit of tomato paste. But she made this red pepper sauce with red and yellow peppers they're sweet, but they're not hot. They don't have any heat to them. And I think she may have thrown a bell pepper in there as well. And she mixed it together in the blender. I'm not sure exactly what liquid ingredients maybe some, I don't know, water. I'm not even sure. But she put nutritional yeast, which is if you're a vegan or 100% plant-based, you'll know what a nutritional yeast is because it's like that one ingredient that goes in almost everything. It gives it a cheesy consistency, and it was creamy as heck. I'm like, what did you put in here? Because it was, and she knows not to give me anything that's non-vegan, right? But I had to ask because it was just so creamy. I said, what did you put in here? Because it's just so creamy and cheesy flavor. And she doesn't eat cheese. And I'm like, what'd you put in? I put the nutritional yeast in there. I'm like, oh my goodness. So it started like she roasted the peppers. She put garlic in there. It just, my God, it was too good. And I didn't make it. She made it, right? So she's becoming this. She thinks she's like Chef Boyardee girl or something. I don't know. But anyway, that was a joke, right? I'm trying to be funny. Are you reinventing yourself? Are you swerving? I do the swerve. I don't do the, we have to pivot. No, 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 no. On air with Russell of Hotels, he swerves. Okay, so there you go. In fact, I have, just in case you wanted other words to use, there's 7 words here that you can use other than pivot. Okay, rotate, turn, revolve, spin, swiveling, twirling, oscillating. Those are words you can use. You don't even have to use the P word anymore. Come on, let's get with it. It's almost 21 now. Let's do it. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. Remember that one. Contact information. If you want to get a hold of me, there's no reason for anyone to say, "Oh, I try to get a hold of you." No, you didn't. You didn't try. You're just telling me that. You're just peeing on my head and saying it's raining. Okay, I don't believe it. You ever heard that term before? But anyway, that's an old Southern term. Someone had told me, basically saying you're lying, but they say you're peeing on. He was peeing on my head and saying it was raining. Have you heard that before? If you haven't heard it before, you heard it now on air with Russell Hotels. Okay, so anyway, that's a term that I use a lot with people when they're lying to me. So anyway, contact information, how do you get a hold of me? Russell at russellofhotels.com is my email address. Twitter. I just got a message. Someone said, stop it. Okay. Twitter is. Oh my God. Twitter is at Russell of Hotels, IG Russell of Hotels, LinkedIn Russell L. Edmond. Although I always forget to say this. I do have my company, Russell of Hotels, has a page too. So there's 2 pages on LinkedIn, and I always forget to say that. But yeah, I have 2 LinkedIn pages. So the company is Russell of Hotels. So that's one LinkedIn page. Then I have my personal one, or I guess it's personal. Yeah, it's Russell L. Edmond. So there's 2 of those. So I need to type that in there. Facebook, I have 2 pages of 2 Facebook pages, Russell L. Edmond, and then Russell of Hotels. Then YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Russell of Hotels. So go there and subscribe. I only have like a handful of subscription. So please help me out and go and please subscribe to Russell of Hotels. Website, Russell of Hotels, Russell of Hotels. It sounds like I'm saying Russell of Hotels, Russell Hotels, RussellofHotels.com. So check it out. And check out, if you go to if you go to Russell of Hotels, all the video, well, not all the videos, the last several videos that I did, meaning the show, are on my website as well. So I'm getting that updated now. So check it out. Show, like I said, it's a live show, but becomes a podcast. So remember that. I'm not even going to go into that because we don't need to talk about the sponsorship thing. You guys know if you want to be on the show, you can be. If you wanted to have your company displayed on my show, you can do that. Like say similar to this one. Like see, Ace Hotels. They've been on for the last 3 weeks. So I had to change. I didn't have to change, but if you wanted to, post things or you want to be on the show and come and talk, you can do that. Or this one right here. See, Wayfair Hotel, downtown LA. I mean, who doesn't want to be prominently displayed on a live show that hits a lot of people? And this is one of my favorite ones. I mean, it doesn't have anything on there, but I love. Do you guys know where this is? I mean, it's one of the best cities. I know it's one of the best meeting cities in the world. And I know in the U.S., probably the top 3 meeting destination. There's just so much to do. Their downtown is phenomenal. There's a lot of if you're into architecture and things like that, it's the place. In fact, this picture was when I was on an architectural tour. Yes, it's Chicago, right? And they point out all these buildings. Oh my goodness, it's the best thing. So if you're ever in Chicago and you've never taken the architecture tour, you need to do it. But do it from the boat. Okay, do it from a boat, and it goes up down the Chicago River. Oh my God! As long as it's not too hot, it's great, and it's very educational. So I definitely recommend that if you're ever in Chicago and have never done the boat tour of the architecture in Chicago. Who listens? I'm just, as you can tell, I don't have anyone on the show today, right? So I'm just going on. It's all right, 132, right? Just give me a show and I can talk. Give me a mic and I can talk. I don't even have any water today. I'm just on fire today. Someone needs to cool me off. But anyway, but I do have something I'm going to talk about at the end. So I'm getting to that now. So I'm going to share some hotel stories, if I will. I'm not sure how many I'll get to, but I'm going to share a couple. Who listens? Who are our feeder cities? Feeder cities, LA, of course, because I'm based in LA. Orange County, California. Chicago, just talked about Chicago, right? Great destination place. San Francisco, New York, sometimes Atlanta. It just depends. It fluctuates from week to week, who listens in those particular cities. But then it also breaks down, who the people are, what companies they work for that listen. A lot of Marriott people, a lot of IHG people listen to the show. Aimbridge people, that's the management company. It tells you exactly, the number of people and who those people, what they represent. And it's all based on, their company and things like that. So, I mean, there's a number of people that listen to the show. They watch the show, and it's not just here in the U.S. In Toronto, Canada, Vancouver, Jamaica, like most of the islands, Jamaica, Bahamas, Barbados, the UK, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand. So we just haven't made to the continent of Africa yet. But once we get there, it's a wrap, right? But yeah, so there's quite a few people outside the country that will listen and tune in and make comments as well. So I want to thank those people for supporting On Air with Russell of Hotels as well. What is the Russell of Hotels group? I do branding, digital marketing via social media, help build your presence, keep you relevant, right? That's what it's all about. In today's world, you don't want to be you don't want to be one of those companies that's not relevant, right? You want to stay ahead of the curve. You want to be on top of mind of people. You want to make sure people don't forget about you, especially during the thing that's going on now with COVID, where people aren't traveling like they were. So guess what? They forget that they forget about that hotel that was advertising last year. But if you're putting things out there, and you don't have to, it's not an in your face promoting now. It's basically you're tying your brand into something that's going on, something positive, right? That's what you want. You want to be related or associated with something that's positive. You never want to be related or associated with anything that's negative, because it's going to have a negative effect. So you don't want to do that. So just make sure we're doing that. Collaborating and connecting with people. That's what I try to do. Connect as many people as I can. Doesn't have to be within the hospitality space, but my job is to connect people. So if you need, I need this or I need that, can you hook me up with this person? Can you connect me with that person? That's what I'm here to do. So I try to do that as best as I can. I get calls all the time. People looking for jobs. Do you know a person here? I see you're linked in with this person. Can you, do a e-introduction or things like that? I do that all the time. So that's what I do. Connecting, collaboration and connecting of people. Number one, I ask this every week. How is your professional and personal brand staying relevant? 2, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you are doing differently? 3, have you connected with anyone new? 4, what has this situation taught you? So those are questions that I ask every week to you. I'm not going to answer those questions for you, but those are things you need to, want some of those things that make you go, never thought about it like that. I mean, have I connected with new people today? And I'm a salesperson. Well, guess what? Salespeople, you need to be connected with new people all the time. So I just gave you a little information there. So just make sure we're doing that and learn what has this situation taught you? What has it taught me? There's more that I can learn. It's a lot of low downtime. So, I mean, people are offering webinars and seminars and, online things, trainings and everything, and it's free. Or if it's not free, the cost is very minimal. So why not, why not learn something? Why not educate yourself a little more? So when you come out of this, you're like, boom, you're ready to go. So, I mean, every week, I'm sure weekly, I'm doing some type of webinar or something like that. So just make sure we're doing that. We're taking advantage of these slow times so we come out fighting, right, when it's over. But hotels, are you selling differently? Because everything has changed, right? Everything's going to be changed. And meeting planners, are you doing things differently? You need to be more of a producer than just planning meetings now, because guess what? Half of your meeting attendees are not going to be in person. They're going to be virtual. So you're going to have to start taking on the attitude of like you're a Hollywood producer, okay? Because you're going to have to produce virtual programs that you can't do with the old stuff anymore. We're going to have to do some new technology. We have to start making sure we're reading up on new technology, because guess what? You don't want to fail at that. You don't want to produce something and then it doesn't work. You don't want to deal with a hotel that they don't even have enough bandwidth. Have we thought about that? Hotels, have you thought about how much bandwidth you have? Because things are going to go to virtual. So it can be thousands of people that you're going to be streaming to, maybe a couple hundred that are going to be at the hotel. So guess what? Your stuff is going to have to be tight. Your technology is going to have to be tight. AV, do you have in-house or do you outsource it? Though they need to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. Because like I said, it's going to be like a Hollywood production moving forward. So it will behoove you if you start taking that stuff serious, because the stuff that we were doing before, not going to work. I'm telling you now, been on those webinars too. Okay. So just make sure meeting planners and hoteliers, do we have enough bandwidth? Meeting planners or producers, we need a whole new list of vendors to make sure we're doing what we need to do, because the majority of people are not going to be in person. They're going to be virtual. So think about it. So that's what it comes down to. Hotels, are you selling differently? Are you marketing more or less? Are you keeping your brand in front of your competition? I talk about it all the time. Are you waiting for things to happen, or do we make things happen? Do we wait for the phone to ring, or are we out there making the phone ring? Are we proactive or are we reactive? I mean, those are things you need to, salespeople, I can't even speak, specifically need to know that. are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, I don't have a guest today, but quick shout out to Say Koke, GM of Ace Hotels DTLA, reopening on December 28th. I just want to give him a shout out. He was a guest last week, so Say, thank you so much for coming on and give us sharing your experience, what's going on at Ace Hotel. I mean, I know you guys had to close, and that was unfortunate. And in fact, I didn't even know until we were talking on air about that. So, but Merry Christmas to you, to your staff, and we pray that you get back open on the 28th, and we move forward with this. So, anything I can do to assist you, just you got my number. Give me a call. So thank you so much for your support and being on the show. I do appreciate that. I'll share a couple of hotel stories. Now, when you work, and there's other hotel people can tell some stories too. Everyone has some stories to tell. Okay. So, but these are mine. These are my experiences. It's what I experienced with some of these. And some of them are, superstars or celebrities or whatever you want to call them. But guess what? They got issues too. Just like you and I, we got issues. They got issues. Okay. So, and I told this story before on, because everybody resonates with, football players and, especially a Hall of Famer like a Joe Montana, right? Everybody knows who Joe Montana is, right? And this is nothing against Joe Montana, but just my experience with him. Okay. And it had to do with, I get a phone call. I'm a night manager at a hotel in Sacramento, actually outside of Sacramento, Rancho Cordova. Okay. Get a phone call late night and saying from Joe's agent saying that Joe Montana is going to come to your hotel and sign some autographs. I'm like, what? Are you serious? This is when he was still playing. Okay. So this has been some years, right? So he was still playing. He was just leaving San Francisco. Harry won the 4 Super Bowls. He was going to Kansas City to play. That's where he finished his career. So I'm like, okay, so it's the summer of that, right? So I'm like, wow, okay, this is great. So I'm telling people, Joe Montana, I try to keep it as quiet as I can. But I'm thinking, so Wednesday night, it's like a Wednesday night, right? I'm like, who's gonna come and have autographs? But that's what I thought. But I'm like, maybe he has a entourage. People are following him, chasing him around. I don't know. But anyway, he comes to the hotel. We've already had a place set aside, right? We had this private dining area of the restaurant, which was big enough to put a couple tables in there, and he can sit there and sign autographs or whatever. I mean, it was huge. The room was huge. I mean, it was more than enough space for him to do that. But you had to walk through the restaurant to get to this room, private. But it was perfect place, right off the lobby, perfect, right? So we had to set up. So he comes in. It's Joe Montana, his agent. And there's Steve Bono, who was a pro football quarterback as well. He was Joe Montana's backup for the most part, but he started a couple years in the NFL as well. But his main role was as a backup. But he was pretty good. And so it's those 3 people, right? So they come in, and I'm, of course, I'm anyone sports related, that I follow in sports, I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of giddy, right? And I'm like, oh, Mr. Montana, pleasure meeting you, blah, blah, blah. He didn't shake my hand, right? So he just kind of, he's kind of stoic. He just, he didn't say anything. He just looked at me, and I looked at his agent, and he didn't say anything. And Steve Bono said, oh, hey, Russell, how you doing? Steve Bono. I said, oh, I know you. I mean, seen you on TV, blah, blah, blah. And, I said, well, can I get you guys some drinks? What's the game plan here? Are you guys going to sign autograph? How are you going to sign? Can I get you guys a drink? Anything like that? And then I'm looking at Mr. Joe Montana, right? I'm saying, Mr. Montana, can I give you anything to drink? And he says, he doesn't say anything. He looks at his agent. He looks at his agent, and his agent looks at me and says, and looks back at Joe, looks at me, looks back at Joe and says, Joe, do you want anything to drink? You want a beer or something? I said, yeah, we have, Amstel Light, blah, 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 blah. And he says, oh, I think Joe likes Amstel Light. You like Amstel Light, Joe? And Joe shakes his head. Never says anything, just shakes his head. And then Steve Bono said, yeah, I'll have Amstel Light too. And so he said, just give us 3 Amstel Lights. Okay, all right. So Chris Carlson, who is a server there, he's taking the order, whatever. And Chris Carlson is a huge San Francisco fan as well, right? So he's just huge, right? So he's like, he's giddy as well. He's overly giddy. But anyway, he goes and gets the beer, gives him the beer. I think the other 2 people, the agent and Steve Bono, they drank their beer. Joe, I don't know if he probably took a sip and put it down, right? So I'm like, well, what's the game plan as far as signing autographs? He said, well, we're still trying to figure that out. I'm like, trying to figure it out. People saw him walk in, right? So now people in the restaurant are like, why is he here? Can I get an autograph? Well, bottom line, and I'm, getting through the story. He never spoke. I had to speak through his agent, to get to him. So anything we talked about, like the drink, I said I had to talk to his agent, right? I said, does Joe want a drink? He said, Joe, you want a drink? Oh no, Joe's not drinking. He's not thirsty. Joe's not hungry. I was like, well, can I get something, something for him to eat? I mean, we just set it out for them. What can we do for you? And basically they were there all of 25 minutes. He didn't drink his beer, and they just, as strange as they came, they left. All right. I'm like, what the heck happened here? And people are looking at me because, we got the whole hotel on, they're all excited, right? They're all giddy, right? And then they're looking at me like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. So, like I said, we all got issues, right? We put these people on these pedestals, but sometimes they're not always what we want them to be. He could have been going through some stuff that day. I don't know. But that was my experience with Joe Montana. Let me see. I had another one. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. I'm saying, oh my God, because this one, this was something else. So do you guys remember, it was a rap group? Okay. I'm a night manager again, in LA. I'm at the Hilton in Woodland Hills, California. Okay. The rap group is called, this is back in the 90s. It's called Bone Thugs and Harmony. Okay, now they were big. They were under oh my God, why can't I think? Eazy-E's label. Okay. Eazy-E, I don't remember the name of the record label, but Eazy-E was with NWA. Okay, just as a reference, right? So they were down for the Grammys or something. And this was around the time when Eazy-E was sick, right? And then subsequently he passed away, right? During while they were there, right? So they come in, and I know the reputation, right? I know their reputation, but they came across as they were cool. We got them in. They're all on the same floor, right? They shared, maybe 3 or 4 rooms. I think it was like 5 or 6 of them, but they shared rooms, right? So I just remember any complaint that we got, it was them, right? And I'm a night manager at this time, right? This is right before I got into sales, right? So I would get the complaints, right? So me, I'm black, they're black. Okay, so we go up there like, hey, can you guys just hold it down? And at that time, we had smoking floors, but the floor that they were on, because they didn't say that they smoked, right? Well, they weren't smoking cigarettes. Of course, they're smoking, the illegal stuff, right? So of course I go up to say, hey, can you guys, I understand, blah, 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 but can you guys stop this? Okay, because there's other guests on the floor, and we're getting complaints. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So, okay, so they stopped it for a minute, but they continued to do it again. And then the last straw for me was I go upstairs, and there's a guest that's complaining, saying that there's people laying in the hallway. I'm like, what? What room are you? What floor are you on? I don't remember what floor they're on the 10th floor. Okay, so 10th floor, I go to the 10th floor, and yeah, they're laying, there's 5 or 6 of them. They're laying in the hallway. So any guest that has a room that's past their room, they have to climb over these people. They have to walk and step over these people. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I escorted this person to his or her room. And then I came back and said, hey, you guys need to get up, oh man, we can't get in our room, the doors, like I said, well, did you come downstairs to try to, it said the key didn't work. Did you come downstairs and get another key? No. So what I did, I had a key already, right? I had a master key. So I went in, opened the door, and the room was trashed. Okay. I said, no, this is it. I said, you guys got to go. What do you mean we gotta go? Ah! I never heard so many cuss words in my life, right? So I called security, right, to come up there and help me, because like I said, there's 5 of them. And it's just one of me, although I probably could have taken them, but I didn't want to try that because that wasn't my job to do that, right? So so I had them security come up, and we escorted their butts out of that hotel. I'm like, if the room wouldn't have been as trashy as it was, I probably would have said, okay, whatever. And it just so happens that same day, that's when Eazy-E had passed away, as I recall. And I'm like, I know the situation, I know the circumstances, but you guys cannot come here, commandeer a floor, laying on the ground, having guests climb over you to get to their room. I said, no, it's beyond out of control, right? So I just basically said, you guys have to go. You're not kicking us out. Yeah, I'm kicking you out. So I'll get everything together, your folios and all that stuff, and I'll bring a card up here, but you have to go now. Well, can't we just leave it in the morning? No, you got to go now. Okay, so we got him out, and that wasn't a big deal. The big thing was all the death threats that I got afterwards. Now that was something else. We're gonna do this and then we're gonna do that. Well, it just went on and on and on. But that sometimes you got to do what you have to do, right? As a night manager, I mean, you try to give celebrities, you give them a little leeway, but when it starts interfering with another guest, you have to take action. And I was known as the guy that kicked out Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, people in that hotel like, oh, Russell's the one that kicked out Bone Thugs. I can't believe you did that. My front office manager, who is a GM now, he was making comments like, you couldn't have done anything else. I said, no, I could not have done anything else, Joe. So no, I kicked him out. No, you cannot let your hotel go down this path where you could never recover. Because at the end of the day, they were one group, but I had a 315 room hotel. Okay. So no, you got to make a decision. And sometimes the decision goes against what other people would think, but I got to think like I was a GM. What would the GM do? I got to put my, and what perception is that for all the other guests? They can go out and tell other people. These people would never come back for the most part, but the guests were reoccurring guests. And guess who our main competition was a Marriott down the street. So I'm not going to let the Marriott get this business. So I got to make a decision. So that's how I think. I was a forward thinking night manager, right? So that person had to go, or that group had to go. So that was my Bone Thugs and Harmony rap group whatever story. So I got one more. I'm gonna tell one more. So tennis legend. Okay, this is in Sacramento. Tennis legend, lady. Okay, I don't know if I can tell her name or not, but you'll figure it out. Tennis legend, not Martina Navratilova. Okay, so just think of another tennis legend, older than her, right? She's still living. Anyway, so there was an issue. There's a tennis tournament, a huge tennis tournament that used to go on in Sacramento. I'm not sure, Rancho Cordova, out in the same area. I'm not sure if it still goes on now, but it was this huge, all the biggest names in tennis used to show up, and a lot of them stayed at our hotel. And this tennis legend stayed there. And she wasn't playing at that time, but she was an ambassador of tennis, of course, right? So she had accused, one day she comes back, I guess, and takes off her bracelet. Let's say it was a tennis bracelet, and she puts it on, I don't know, somewhere in the room. Well, it's missing now. So of course I'm the night manager there too, right? So they call me and says, Miss Tennis Legend needs you in her room because she said something has been stolen. So I go to the room and I talk to her, and she's out of control, right? Just screaming and yelling, and accused one of our housekeepers of stealing this tennis bracelet. I can't believe it. We stay here all the time and blah, 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 blah. She's just going off. She's going in on me, right? Okay. So I let her vent, and I said, God, Miss Tennis Legend, this never happened before. I mean, I've been here 3 years and I've never had anyone, nothing is like this has happened. None of our people have ever stolen. These people, our housekeepers have been here for, umpteen years. They're very, very well respected in our industry, and I've never had any complaints about any of them, especially when it comes to theft. We don't have that problem here, and which we didn't. I didn't just say that. That wasn't just a thing that I say to all the guests. No, it was sincere and serious. I said, no, I've never had that happened before. And she goes, well, I can't believe it. I need results. Basically, she was in my face telling me, and I said, ma'am, can you just do me this favor? Can you look at all your, look in the drawers, look in all the compartments of your luggage? Because I said, before, I said, I've had a situation before with a previous guest where they actually put it in something that they had never put it in there before, right? And so could you just do me a favor and go back? Oh, no, you don't believe me? I'm like, ma'am, I'm just asking that you take the necessary, can you help me take some steps to see if maybe it got misplaced, maybe it got put in a drawer or a compartment of your luggage that you never put anything in there before. I'm just asking that, maybe in the bathroom. I don't know, but can you do that for me? And she just going on and on and on and on. Okay, so bottom line, I said, okay, well, I have to file a report. And then I'm gonna come back and get some information for you. Well, I'm leaving. We're leaving. We're having dinner now, and we can do this later. Okay, so say this was maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so I go about my business. I start this report and whatever. Now, all the while, her partner is in the room too. Okay, so partner's not saying anything. All right. No. Her partner was not there. No. Let me take that back. Partner was not in the room. Okay, so it was just her and I, and she's going off on me. And I even asked. I said, was anyone else? I said, was anyone else in the room that may have? Yeah, there's someone else in the room, but they would never have moved that. No. Okay, all right, okay. So, like I said, I went back, started my report, because all we can do is, you do an incident report, send it into our insurance company, and then their insurance company talks to, the tennis legends insurance company, and they resolve, and that's how it goes. And so we're pretty much out of it, other than, the information. They may have called me, get some more information and things like that. But that's basically about it, right? So, but later on that day, I want to say about 5-6 o'clock, okay, I'm in the lobby, and then this lady that I've never seen before comes up to me, and it happens to be tennis legend's partner. The tennis legend comes out too. She looks at me and just keeps walking, right? Doesn't say anything, but I was used to that at that point, right? She just kept walking. And the partner comes up to me and says, are you Russell? I said, yeah. She goes, she found she goes, we have the bracelet. I said, where was it? She said, I had put it in her bag in a compartment. Right when I asked her, I said, could you check your compartments, right? Because 9 out of 10 times, that's definitely where it is. Because this probably happened like 5 times in my whole career, right? Where I would ask them to look at somewhere they never put it before, and normally is there. The hotel, employees don't steal like that, especially these employees have been there for years. This event was a recurring event, had been there for years. So the same people would come in. So, there was no turnover during the, in the housekeeping department, right? For housekeepers, there's just no turnover over the time I was there. So there's no way that would even happen. I'm sure some slight situation that it would, but I was confident that they did not take that bracelet, and that she had misplaced it. Well, she didn't replace it. The partner did, and she never told her. Okay, so the partner apologized. Oh, I'm sorry, but Miss Tennis Legend never said anything to me. She just walked out, and that was it. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But hey, what can I do? But yeah, so that's another situation. But guests will, they'll get in your face, they'll do all kind of stuff, but it's all about, keeping your composure. It's all about listening to them, trying to come up with a remedy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I had a guest that, he was mad at, he got a room type that he wanted, but it was dirty. Okay. The carpet was dirty. And I admit that it was dirty. It was dirty. And I try to do everything I can, give him another room. We were on a sold out weekend, whatever. But the guy was so mad. This is what he would tell me. He would say, I'm so mad right now, I could spit. I said, and he said it like 3 times. And I said, well, sir, I said, I understand how upset you can be, but just please make sure you don't spit on me. That's what I told him. He said, he looked at me, he's like, oh, well, I'm just telling you that how mad I am. I'm just so mad that it can come to that. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I understand, but please, keep your spittle to yourself. Okay. But yeah, he was ticked off. He's like, I'm so mad. He said like 3 times, I'm so mad right now, I could spit. But so you come across all acts of, all walks of life, if you will, in the hotel industry. And a lot of them, everybody complains that there's an issue with something, you know what I mean? So it's just, how do you handle that issue? You got to, every issue is different or is unique, as is the people that you're dealing with. Okay. Some celebrities, the guy that said he could spit was not a celebrity. But he was just ticked off though. Let me see. Can I tell this one story? It's 2:00, but Ronan said I can go a couple minutes over if I needed to, but I don't think I need to. Do I need to? I'll share a couple other stories next week. 24 laptops stolen. Oh my God, that was something. Another. Oh, this is a rap producer story. Okay, a rap producer story, and then an issue with a well-known. These are all celebrities. A well-known. He used to play basketball, but he's a commentator now. He's on ESPN or TNT, one of those shows, right? Well, it's a situation that happened with him, and the hotel he'll say he'll never come back to. But anyway, I'll tell those next week on Air with Russell of Hotels. So thank you so much. I hope those stories were interesting and funny. It's the holidays, keep things more lighted than I normally do. So, but I love that Joe Montana story. I tell that to people all the time, and they're like, I can't believe it was like that. But I mean, that's just how some people are like that. Some people are standoff, and people, they get so used to, I guess, people asking them for things. And I was trying to accommodate him, but like I said, cat had his tongue. Okay, so you ever heard that term? Cat got your tongue. That means you don't talk. Whatever. Anyway, we heard that as kids. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, I pulled that out, right? But anyway, you guys take care. Thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Merry Christmas to everyone. And someone had left me with some Joe Tatizian. I talked to him a couple weeks ago. Joe Tatizian is VP with Ambridge Hospitality, right? He's a VP now. And congratulations, Joe, for doing it. He was formerly the GM at the Hilton in Pasadena. Well, now he's the VP of Ambridge Hospitality, or an area GM. So he has, I think, 10, 12 hotels that he's responsible for now. And he told me, he says, and we're ending the conversation. He said, stay positive, test negative. I said, Joe, did you come up with that on your own? He said, oh yeah, you can use it. He said, use it on your show. So I said, okay, Joe, I will. So in the words of Joe Tatizian, first of all, I want to thank everyone for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. I appreciate everything you guys do, your support for the show. And for me, Merry Christmas to everyone. Be safe, stay home, the whole COVID thing. And in the words of Joe Tatizian, stay positive, test negative. Take care. Have a good week. Boom.
Thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Please tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we talk to other hospitality professionals. Your feedback is important. Email Russell at russellofhotels.com with any questions or suggestions. Until next time, try not to be a person of success, rather become a person of value.